exact same lessons because as much as it bothers you, gay people exist. They just do. And it doesn't hurt us. It doesn't hurt us literally at all. And some kids have gay parents, and some kids will be gay and might like to see gay parents. They might like to see gay characters from an early age because no amount of whining on social media will make gay people stop existing. That's just not how it works. Trans people have always existed everywhere across Earth for as long as there have been humans, and they will for the rest of time, no matter how much you complain about it on social media. And then you have this person, a motion detector who pays Elon Musk to be on social media, says W for woke, P for propaganda, B for brainwashing, I for indoctrination. And then that's where it ends. I think he ran out of steam and didn't have any more letters. And I just want to point out the irony that this person who is responding to probably like an employee's post on Netflix about a kid's show that he doesn't watch and won't watch is saying B for brainwashing. Dude, you're posting on social media about how Sesame Street is woke. I think there's been some brainwashing, but I don't think it was on Sesame Street. I don't think that Bert and Ernie are the problem. I think Bill O'Reilly and Sean Hannity were the problem. I don't think the kids are the ones who are being ruined. I think you're ruined. I think you can't move through life anymore without pointing at everything that makes you uncomfortable and calling it woke. I think it's maybe too late for you. Have you considered watching some Sesame Street? Maybe that could repair some of the damage that's been done to you. And then you have this, Johnny Massacre, tough name. Johnny Massacre pays $8 to be on Twitter. Says leaked image of Netflix's first episode of Sesame Street. See? Oh, they're gonna have a puppet in a wheelchair because it's woke. Wait, why? What? You know that people are in wheelchairs, right? Why is that woke to show? Like there are people. This is dark. There are kids in wheelchairs. You get that, right? There are kids whose parents are in wheelchairs. There are people whose teachers are in wheelchairs. They see people in wheelchairs because wheelchairs are needed for people who need wheelchairs. Why is it bad? And you'll notice he doesn't say because he doesn't know. None of them know why any of this is bad. None of them know why it's bad for Bert and Ernie to be gay or for Big Bird to be in a wheelchair, for someone to be wearing a hijab, which some people do. None of them know, they just feel it because they've been told it and they want you to believe it. They just desperately want you to share the exact twisted, perverse constellation of prejudices that they have and never interrogate because they don't have the emotional or psychological strength to do so. They don't have the durability of spirit to wonder if maybe their hatreds aren't actually founded in anything. Maybe all of them desperately need more Sesame Street. But anyway, it's a win for Elmo. And that's good. I didn't watch it much growing up, but I'm watching it a little bit with my daughter right now. And you know what? It's not bad, actually. It might indeed be good. Anyway, that's it for the show. Thank you, everyone. Reminder, members Hangouts this Thursday. I'm gonna be on a live taping of The Bituation Room, May 30th, ElysianTheater.com. 4 tickets if you'd like to see me and Francesca and others talking politics. I wanna see as many members of the Dragon Squad there as possible. For now, though, stay safe out there, stay sane out there, and we'll see you soon.
Well, look who's back. Welcome to Indisputable with Dr. Rashad Ritchie. Doc is on the way, never fear. I'm Sharon Reed, just holding down the fort for just a little bit. Packed show today. You know the team has you covered. And we just give you what's out there with the extra truth on it, like Indisputable is known for doing. One of the only shows out there, TYT Network, of course. We're going to begin, though, with this one. A cop who shot a black man in the head is still out there, still a part of the force. Let's give you some background on this one. Officials in a southwestern county in Washington state agreed this week to a $3.5 million payout to settle a federal lawsuit filed by the family of Genoa Donald, an autistic man fatally shot by a Clark County Sheriff's deputy. Sean Boyle's his name. Happened during the 2021 traffic stop, only now getting settled. Boyle will remain on the police force. February 2021, let's go back to that fateful day. Donald pulled over by Clark County Sheriff's deputy Sean Boyle for a faulty taillight. Family suit states, according to Tacoma News Tribune, shortly before that traffic stop, deputies heard about, quote, suspicious activity in the area near a reported drug house. Two deputies ended up joining Boyle at the shop, one of whom later said they thought they saw a weapon in Donald's car that turned out to be a screwdriver. Donald was unarmed. Let's just pause there, okay, folks? Already, what I've related to you in this particular location out of Washington sounds like a lot of the other stories we've unfortunately had to relate to you. Suspicious activity, thought he was armed. Let's have some other people join in. Suspicious activity could be anything, okay? I saw a coyote roaming in my backyard. I was inside, door was locked. That's suspicious, maybe. But here we are again, another unarmed black man is dead. There's more. According to the suit, when Boyle asked Donald to step out of the car, Donald did not immediately respond. There's this one again, too. Boyle then tried to pull him out of the car and punched him in the nose in the process. Let's escalate things. As Boyle struggled with Donald, the vehicle's gear shifted, causing the car to lurch forward. Gee, I wonder if that's what took the victim so long to get out. Suddenly I'm bombarded. Police are screaming orders, barking orders at me, punching me in the nose, and now the car shifted out of gear. Okay. Boyle reacted to the gear shift by shooting Donald twice. The complaint states one of those bullets struck Donald's head. He died a week later in the hospital. 30 years old, left behind 3 children. Family members said he was on the spectrum, autism, had dyslexia, and ADHD. You know what? A lot of people have that. A lot of people have that. Some diagnosed, some don't know it, but they have the symptoms. What gives, folks? It's a fair question. Did this have to happen? Okay. So let's go to July 2021. Clark County Prosecutor's Office conducted an independent review that determined Boyle acted lawfully and that Donald's vehicle could be considered a weapon after it shifted gears and began rolling forward. Sounds like the cop's behavior was just as much to blame, if not completely to blame for that. Family argued in their suit that the stop altogether was unlawful, citing a 1999 Washington Supreme Court case that found it is unconstitutional for police to use a traffic stop as an excuse to investigate suspected criminal activity. KOMO reported. I gotta pause again. I have to, okay? The tail light's always, something's wrong with it, right? Just kind of malfunctioning, didn't seem to know it before. It's always that, isn't it? But why I have to pause on this set of details is that independent review by the prosecutor's office, I don't care what they call it. They have coffee together, they play bingo, poker, whatever, together. They work closely, they're closely aligned. They depend on each other. They need each other. They can't survive without each other. Police, prosecutors, prosecutors, police. We know that, right? Just pointed it out. Independent review. No wonder they always come back most of the time. I think that's fair to say. Most of the time, they always come back with acted lawfully, can find any reason to wiggle out of this. In fact, what I've heard so far, and of course, we have that $3.5 million settlement. That's nothing, by the way, for a human life, a father of three who should be here. It's nothing. We care less, except that the taxpayers have to pay it. And this guy who's reckless, I can call him that. Okay? You are claiming something about a taillight. The man is unarmed, mistaking a screwdriver. You're punching somebody in the nose. You're trying to drag somebody out the car, probably seconds after you barked orders, or maybe at the same time. We've seen that happen before. How are you making you and your partner safe? Who cares about the perp, right? I can say that because I believe they don't care. How are you making yourself safe? You're reaching the car, punching somebody in the nose because they didn't move fast enough. Boy, that's what I hear. That's where my mind goes. And I can go there as a person of color who's covered this so many times, and you guys know it too. Another traffic stop that ends in death. It's just not necessary. Complaint also stated deputies used excessive force against Donald, you think, citing Clark County's alleged history of not properly training officers on non-lethal de-escalation methods. Something else is in my crawl. County settlement with Donald's family happened weeks before a civil rights trial for the case was set to begin in Seattle in June. In a statement about the May 14th settlement, Clark County spokesperson Joni McNally told local news outlets that the county continues to, quote, deny liability for this unfortunate incident. You know what, Joni? Just don't say anything next time, Joni. Just leave it at the settlement. We got it. Not your problem. You're headed home at 5 p.m., right? To go back to your family. Sheriff John Horch also released a statement saying, we never want to see an incident that results in the loss of another person's life, and any loss of life is tragic. In this situation, oh God, we hate the loss of life, but again, I'd rather you just say nothing. It's just so disingenuous. It's so disingenuous. In this situation, deputies responded according to training and state law to protect themselves and others. I don't know if I even agree with that. I'm not a lawyer, but if they did, it's still stupid. It's really dumb. It's not helping them be safe. Sheriff Horch. It's not helping the public be safe for sure. Somebody's pushing up daisies because of the actions here that seem very unnecessary. Just as a layperson, both the independent, there's that word again, investigation and the independent prosecutorial review concluded that the decision to use deadly force was justifiable and done in good faith under state law. I'm about to be sick. I'm so sick of reading the same set of facts, different story, different black man. The end result, still the same. Boyle is still employed, as we said, with the Clark County Sheriff's Office. I just can't even stomach the sheriff's smiling picture. Get out of here. And I can say all these things, and you could accuse me, anyone out there, you, of being a Monday morning quarterback, but I know what my good sense tells me. I still have some left, okay? I still have some left. I know what it tells me. If I don't care about a single unarmed black man, okay, I do. I have a heart. But let's put it aside. Let's say you don't care. How is this making the responding uniforms safe? How is this set of protocols? I had suspicious. What does that mean? An old lady was run down, was somebody mowed down, and then you heard shots fired from like an AR-15, and the public was, scared and fear of their lives because people were out there and the killers were coming. They were coming. Maybe it was an army of them. I didn't hear any of that. Suspicious activity. And then you pull this black man, this 30-year-old father over. Something about a taillight? Gee whiz. Be human. Be a little smarter. I don't want someone like that on my force if I'm the sheriff, because You are someone who puts us all in danger. That's my opinion. You're someone who doesn't know how to de-escalate. The hell did you even need him for? Let alone kill him. And then the sick statements from Joni and the sheriff about what's justifiable in denials. It makes me want to vomit. Now, we've seen it a bunch of times. Don't be theatrical, Sharon. It's not. It's that, like, this is our life. America, look at your life. This is what we're doing. Every damn day when a black man or woman or somebody brown goes out the door, this is the possibility. I can't even tell you to watch your back. I can't tell you to watch your back. Stay woke, which before that was hijacked. It just meant be on the lookout, be careful out there. Because I haven't heard yet what this father of three did wrong. I didn't hear anything. Well, how many seconds did you give him to get out of the car? And why were you asking him exactly to get out of the car? I just can't even hold my nose. The stench is so bad around here. This is indisputable. With Dr. Rashad Ritchie. Doc is handling some things on the way. And I am thankful that he trusted me to present this one. But I'm disgusted by the parties involved. And $3.5 million doesn't begin to cut it for a father of three who has children who love him, a family who loves him. It's sick, and I think it's a civil rights violation, and I don't need to be a lawyer to say that. A man who has some everyday challenges that so many people have, and this is what we're doing. Thanks for nothing, Sheriff Horch and Joni. Thanks for watching Indisputable. Much more to come.
They failed us. And if you're not angry about that, Michael, and any of you out there, then you're damn wrong, because you should be angry. Young Turks.
It was genuine. He was mad.
Cenk Uygur, known online as one of the Young Turks, isn't afraid to throw some punches.
3, 2, 1, fade up.
Cenk the Turk Uygur.
What kind of TV station is this? The whole point is for me to yell and scream and tell you what I think.
It was right out of like Wayne's World.
This guy on this little rinky-dink website is speaking truth to power.
We've been averaging 600,000 views a day, beating most of the cable shows in America.
We're the largest online news show in the world.
We're celebrating our 1 billionth view. Television, we're coming.
More politics ahead with Cenk Uygur.
He knew that the MSNBC opportunity was an experiment.
And Phil and host beat CNN and Headline News combined. At some point, they want to give me a show.
Every single year, that comes out of our paycheck. We put it in, and you're saying we were suckers.
When you, as a host, tells someone you're interviewing to shut up, that's going to raise a red flag.
That guy needed a tall glass of shut up juice.
If President Obama's doing the wrong thing, I'm not going to tell you that he's doing the right thing so I can, quote, support him.
He says to me, "You won't believe the meeting that I just had."
The head of MSNBC talked to me.
They want him off the air.
Cenk took an incredible risk.
We're supposed to challenge the government. That's the role of the media. The Democrats and the Republicans are here to screw you. And who on the air is saying it?
I wouldn't have done what he did.
That if I'm going to be a talk show host, I should be the biggest talk show host in the country. I don't think anyone else does it better. I don't think anyone's even close. Before you know it, I'll be back on your TV doing a national show. I guarantee it.
Magic. It's showtime. And say 45 minutes. I'm hosting today. Now I know what you're thinking, Jerry, your face is already perfect, but you know what? I still need to apply some makeup. I went through this process, right? A few years ago. When I realized that I was gonna have to wear makeup on the show. I had to go through like finding out what my undertones were. You guys know what those are? I got my MAC Cosmetics. It says SPF 15 foundation, broad spectrum. But apparently what I have is red undertones, and I think pores are not supposed to be seen. I need all these things to be confirmed for me. These sponge things don't work for me. You gotta use your hands. This I do. That's how the magic really happens. So we're gonna go through a tutorial how to make the magic happen from beautiful to beautifuler. Let's go. I've already been moisturized. That's the first thing. But moisturization already happened. We go raw. All hands. Pick up. Couple streaks. This is the guy way of putting on makeup. We got dots. There's some shiny points that generally happen. First of all, here we go. You dust here. I'm putting way too much, but you dust. Oh, get the excess off. You don't want chunky powder. There's like a T-zone, I think, right? Mine is a double T-zone. Because I went middle and another cross. Make sure your nose isn't all shiny. People get on you for it. They'll say, that's not a good point you made on there, JR. Your nose is shiny. You guys are picky like that sometimes. I think that's about it, fellas and ladies. See you guys next time. Bitsies.
Welcome back to Indisputable with Dr. Rashad Ritchie. Doc is off right now. And for some reason, he keeps trusting me to deliver his incredible content from the team, who's very supportive. And they believe what I believe, no snitching. Okay, Doc may not know what I do when he's not here, but he's a great man and we love him. Look, this is America, I think, okay, and it's got a ton of problems. But I thought in America, unlike some other places, we're allowed to exercise our free speech. We're allowed to speak up when we don't agree. We can certainly support when we do. You know, there's rallies in support of things, and there's rallies against things. Well, this seems like just one of those things where people said, no, we don't like what's going on here. And now one of those people who I didn't see them do anything that was worthy of charges on the recordings, but we'll see. Happens to be a Democratic representative charged for assault after protesting ICE detention center. Yep, you're charged, indicted. Here's a report from NBC News of Representative LaMonica McIver being charged.
Video back, everything that is out there, literally, it's very clear about what happened today. And I'm so thankful I've never been so thankful, Chris, for a camera phone more than ever today.
Yeah.
People was videotaping what was happening, and they saw clearly how we were being treated, how the mayor of Newark was treated. And it was just, it's un-American. And as members of Congress who are just there to do our job, what people elected us to do, to be treated like that. I mean, we were simply there just as a day of work, for a day of work. Chris, literally, to go there, make sure the facility is safe, make sure the detainees were getting, due process, making sure that they were, safe. The facility was up to par. That was all we were there for.
Yeah.
And for all of this to happen today for no apparent reason other than hatefulness and disrespect to the Constitution and our leadership is very clear today. It's on display.
The Justice Department filed charges yesterday against Democratic Congressman LaMonica McIver of New Jersey. McIver, seen here in the red blazer, is accused of assaulting and interfering with law enforcement officials earlier this month at an ICE facility in Newark. McIver says she was there to inspect the treatment of detainees at Delaney Hall. She says it was ICE agents who created an unsafe confrontation. Newark Mayor Ross Baraka was arrested during the clash, but his trespassing charge was later dropped.
Okay, so look at this nonsense. And we're going to get into the details, but with all due respect to the representative, McIver, who clearly, she hit a nail on the head. I disagree, though, with one thing. There's a reason they did it. Forced capitulation, bullying, fear, silencing. Those are all the reasons. And I believe, my opinion, it came from a higher power. I'm thinking someone who thinks they're king. Just my thought. Or a blonde sidekick. So let's give you the details. Democratic Representative LaMonica McIver, charged with assault after a skirmish with federal officers who arrested the Newark mayor outside an immigration detention center. New Jersey's top federal prosecutor announced Monday. It's weird to call her top anything. Interim U.S. Attorney Alina Habba, social media announcing the charge of assaulting, impeding, or interfering with law enforcement. I hope she knows the details of the charges because she doesn't have a great track record in court and knowing just basic lawyering. We saw that when she was representing that King guy and some stuff. It wasn't good. Court papers providing details, though, were not immediately released, publicly available online. Habba, there's her glamour shot. Are you taking this job seriously? At the same time, Habba announced that her office was dismissing a misdemeanor case brought against Newark Mayor Ross Baraka, who was arrested after he attempted to join McIver and two other members of New Jersey's congressional delegation, inspecting the facility in their oversight capacity. Again, she was right. It's just a job. And frankly, when I have someone who is representing me, and I don't care if I voted for him or not, when I call, when I complain, you have to listen. That's what you're supposed to do. I sent one of my senators, Ossoff, Senator John Ossoff, a note saying, my mail's not being delivered, and this is a problem in Atlanta. And I was stunned when a bubble popped on my computer a few hours later. And suddenly the post office, who wasn't responding and getting smart when you go up there, they get real smart with you when you go up there. Suddenly they were reaching out to me and saying, we're going to get this thing solved. CC Senator Ossoff. So they're doing what they're supposed to do in Jersey because something's not right here. And that includes the facility, more to come. Okay? They were inspecting it. Oversight capacity. Habba said the decision was reached, quote, for the sake of moving forward, talking about dismissing the trumped up charge, pun intended, on the Newark mayor, Baraka. And said she has invited the mayor to tour the Delaney Hall Detention Center and will join him herself. I bet you would. He didn't ask you to join him, okay? Nobody. They're so bold. Nobody asked you to roll up there with him, Habba. He was just doing his job on behalf of the people. So let's simmer down and back off. Citizens of New Jersey deserve, it goes on to say, what do they deserve, Miss Haba? Unified leadership so we can get to work to keep our state safe, Haba said in a statement. Oh, you want to divide and conquer, I see. You gonna work with him like you didn't, and I don't mean to conflate the two. Mayor Adams in New York, that was weird. MacGyver's attorney, Paul Fishman, the former U.S. attorney for New Jersey, issued a statement calling the decision to charge MacGyver spectacularly inappropriate, saying she went to Delaney Hall to do her job, and she has the responsibility as a member of Congress to oversee U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement's treatment of detainees. This ain't CCOT. The citizenry has a right to know what's going on in there with people who are accused. They still have rights. Rather than facilitating that inspection, ICE agents chose to escalate what should have been a peaceful situation into chaos, Fishman said. This prosecution is an attempt to shift the blame for ICE's behavior to Congresswoman MacGyver. In the courtroom, facts, not headlines, will matter. I hope he does civil cases too. I'd like her to hit him with that too. Nearly 2-minute clip released by the Homeland Security Department shows MacGyver on the facility side of a chain link fence just before the arrest of the mayor on the street side of the fence. She and uniformed officials go through the gate and she joins others shouting, "Surround the mayor." They know what was going to happen to him. I don't have a problem with that. Video shows MacGyver and a tightly packed group of people and officers at one point her left elbow and then right elbow push into an officer wearing a dark face covering and an olive green uniform emblazoned with the word police on it. Okay. MacGyver and the two other Democrats, Bonnie Watson Coleman, Robert Menendez Jr., have denied any wrongdoing and had accused federal agents of escalating the situation by arresting the mayor. Hey, folks, this is going to be another case where you are told that don't believe your eyes. Your eyes don't matter. It's only what they say. This is what people do with propaganda situations, okay? This is what they do. Don't preach about Russia or anybody else. It's happening here, U.S. soil, major city. There's no video that supports me body slamming anyone, MacGyver said in a recent CNN interview. We were simply there to do our job. It was a very tense situation. And unfortunately, it did not have to be like that. They created that confrontation. They created that chaos and then ultimately went to arrest the mayor. And then you drop it and say, oh, we need to work together, mayor. Kumbaya. Would you like to join me at the facility? Let's go to the Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem now. In a post on X, she said MacGyver was being charged after a thorough review of the video footage. An investigation by Homeland Security investigations. You can't even secure your purse. The people sat right next to you in a restaurant and took your purse. So what are you talking about? Thoroughly review the contents of your purse the next time you go to a restaurant, okay? And stop shooting dogs, puppies. Then there was the Deputy Attorney General, Todd Blanche, also posted on X writing, assaults on federal law enforcement will not be tolerated. You sure? Can somebody find me the footage of January 6th? Because if not, it might be a misquote or something. You carve out for Capitol Hill officers in January 6th. We'll pretend that didn't happen. This administration will always protect those who work tirelessly to keep America safe, except on January 6th. I added that, but I find it truthful. It's a truthful statement now. Well, you didn't protect anybody on January 6th or after it. You wouldn't even meet with those law enforcement people. Look, we all saw this chaos. And again, you started it. You foolishly, none of these people would make the cut. Okay, they can't work in any of my 5 make-believe businesses that don't make any money. I would not hire them. I don't even know if I'd give them an interview. We have no revenue coming in, and I would not give these people an interview because once again, they're not making sense. They're robots. And while I noticed in the footage, I don't know if this has been reported here, I assume you saw it too, they were on the phone consulting with somebody. I don't know who it was, but I have my thoughts, my guesses about who wanted what to happen. I'll say that. I don't know who was on the phone. But these people couldn't even perpetrate a fraud correctly, okay? The mayor goes on the property, which he's entitled, then he leaves. Then you leave the property to go arrest the mayor for like nonsense and trespass, and you didn't leave, but he left, and then you came out and you got him not on your property. And then the lady her elbow touched somebody, she's bumped around the whole crowd. You've never been to, a concert or a soccer match? People get rowdy. It's just silliness. It's clownery. It's tomfoolery, but it's also very scary. I knew that they would do this to a civilian. You better shut up or make sure your taillight's not blinking, right? It's on the fritz or something. You know they're coming for you. But this is exceptionally bold, okay, by the puppet Haba, the top attorney in the state of New Jersey. Gee whiz. This is what they're doing to intimidate a sitting elected official. Several of them. They'll probably review it and keep on charging people. And it's weird to me that while we can be somewhat, if not pleased, find some comfort in the fact that the courts are seeming to stand their ground in the northern states anyway. But what about their partners? What about the people in Congress? Cowardly acts. And this Todd Blanche guy, you got your clock cleaned too. I'm not suggesting Todd Blanche doesn't know the law. He just had a client who was acting foolishly and falling asleep and having flatulence in court as well. That was reported. It was reported. The gas was reported. They deserve to be made fun of because you're making a mockery of this thing called America that already needed fixing. But you took it to a whole new level. Took it to a whole new level. This is indisputable. I'm Sharon Reed. I hope that you will, we'll get to some of your comments because I do want to hear what you all have to say about some of this tomfoolery, the heartbreaker that was at the top of the show. Unarmed black man shot dead and a measly $3.5 million. God bless the family. Gee whiz. And now you have buffoonery. Put up their pictures again. She always has her hair and her extensions laid just beautifully. Okay, Kristi Noem and Todd Blanche. Can you imagine them at the administration luncheon? What do you even talk about? Do you talk about anything serious? Or is it all small talk about what Blanche might talk about where he gets his dog groomed? She should probably not bring up the subject of animals further. This is Indisputable. I'm Sharon Reed. In for Dr. Rashad Ritchie. Much more to come.
Our audience has given us everything, so we couldn't be more connected. When we first started, people would start giving us directions and say, okay, the mics are too large, move them. Turn them into lav mics. I mean, they were incredible. And then one guy walked in and gave us a really expensive switcher and said, you guys need this, and walked out. Okay, it's amazing. They helped us build a studio. They did a $2 million funding campaign for us. And so they really are us. We do this show together to the point where some of our hosts are even former listeners. So when we say that the audience is part of TYT, we really mean it.
I think what the audience also appreciates is especially if they're members, they really get an inside look into who we are, our personal lives, what drives and motivates us. It goes beyond just storytelling. I think that what we do is allow our viewers and our listeners into our daily lives, and we give them kind of like this inside look into everything that we're passionate about and why it is that we're doing what we're doing, right? Like the motivation behind what we're doing, I think is important for our audience to know, and we're not shy about sharing that with them. And it's different from what people typically see in legacy media outlets where everything is kind of dry and robotic and there's really no personality or authenticity that comes along with it. Oftentimes when we're doing the show, I don't really think of it as me telling them stories. I think of it as us having a mutual respect and conversation with one another. And as I said earlier, I mean, not only do I feel that through the work I do, I'm informing our audience, but they inform me oftentimes as well. You know, they'll pitch stories to us. They'll tell us, you know, a certain perspective or angle to a story that we might have missed. And I love it.
Welcome back to Indisputable with Dr. Rashad Ritchie. Doc's off. I'm Sharon Reed. It's just us today, and I don't mind it. I love, feeding off of another guest host, but I like feeding off of you all too, because it's the greatest audience in media. You're independent, free thinkers, and you're kind of funny too. You say some funny things. This first one though relates to that tragedy out in Washington where an unarmed Black man shot dead, autistic on the spectrum, dyslexia, and just ridiculous. The officer's still on the force. Yeah, I feel safe. Remind me not to go to that particular area of Washington. I might avoid the whole state until things get cleaned up. Let's get to the comments. And this one's a doozy because $3.5 million the family got finally settled after several years. But again, the officer stays because, yeah, you're a great cop. Don Dada Dragon, TYT member, says Ashley Babbitt got $5 million for storming the Capitol. Oh, yeah. Make sure her family gets reparations. And listen, I don't want anybody shot dead. One person allegedly was connected to suspicious activity, and had a screwdriver on his seat or something, shot dead, something about a taillight. The other person climbing through a window, January 6th, stoked, going to get it, radicalized. We need to pay the family $5 million. Got it. You're right, Dada Dragon. Don Dada Dragon. Now this one on YouTube about the police officer. John Morton, thank you for your contribution. We always appreciate it, your generosity in keeping this media independent. What would it take to get former Senator Bill Diamond walk a mile in their shoes? In the bullpen. Well, I'd love to see that with Doc. Would appreciate it. His info would be interesting. The team maybe will take note of that because that bullpen is spectacular. I love it. I love that one-on-one. Let's go. Dro Mario, even Lucifer got put out of heaven. Do these police departments think they're above God? Unfortunately, yes. And now you're playing with fire. No matter what you believe in, sick. The conduct's sick and it's just not smart. Twitch about the police officer. I had mentioned during the segment that what is suspicious activity? I actually saw a coyote in my backyard. I said, oh. And I just made sure the door was locked and kept going. Yes, there's coyotes roaming in portions of Atlanta. Disrupted. You keep disrupting the environment, it happens. But Civic, y'all crack me up. Civic Folly 86 says, Sharon, that was me, dressed as a coyote, running for my life as Christy Gnome chased me. Good thing I didn't take any action. I almost let the puppy out and just mess with it. Not a good idea. Yeah, Christy Gnome, you wrote about it. Leave 18 white girl says melanated skin is a weapon, according to the police. It is true. And Earth's blind spot says, I was in the same position as that young man. The cop pulled me over, couldn't get in my passenger side, came around to the driver's side and tried to get in by lifting my door handle. He didn't know I was waiting for a semi, and then I was going to get out and push him into it. There's a truck reference here, not an automatic. He was just waiting, apparently, as a semi was going to roll up. I'm sure you're being facetious. Earth's blind spot. You weren't going to harm a cop, but I feel you. Stop fumbling with the handle. We'll get to more of your comments coming up. And again, we really do appreciate you. You're the best audience because it's his family, and that's why I love it. Subscribe now. You're the boss at TYT. Actually, a network where they mean it. I love this place. But let's get back to what else is going on in America. You claim celebrities are not on your side, out to get you, this and that, but why are you so worried about them? Particularly ones that you don't have a chance in hell of convincing that you're a good guy. But Trump to go after Obama, Springsteen, Harris, Oprah, and Beyoncé. So you gonna mess with Beyoncé and the Hive? What's going on here? We'll tell you, Donald Trump is once again talking about Barack Obama. On Truth Social, Trump reposted this image. All roads lead to Obama. Read Truth if you want public military tribunal. This is unhinged, sick, unwell. I prefer unwell these days because it's encompassing of a lot that's going on that I see. This attack on Obama is rooted in QAnon conspiracy theory rhetoric. So let's get into it. QAnon is a conspiracy theory dating back to anonymous online message board posts from a person claiming to hold Q-level security clearance. It alleges public figures, usually Democrats like Obama and Hillary Clinton, and left-leaning celebrities like Tom Hanks, Wilson, operate a satanic child trafficking cannibal ring. I sat next to my co-anchor, was all up in this. He got a suit too, talking about Pizzagate and all this nonsense. People racing into basements in DC pizza parlors looking for the kids. Atlanta Black Star, our friends there, filling in some details. Military tribunals are generally not used for ex-presidents, generally not used. It's true. They have traditionally been reserved for service members accused of serious crimes, suspected terrorists, or civilians who allegedly commit crimes that compromise national security. I know a civilian who's compromised national security. Just saying. But it's not just Obama that Trump is mad at. Bruce Springsteen, the boss, dragged Trump during his new tour. I want you to watch this.
In my home, the America I love, the America I've written about, that has been a beacon of hope and liberty for 250 years, is currently in the hands of a corrupt, incompetent, and treasonous. We ask all who believe in democracy and the best of our American experience to rise with us, raise your voices against authoritarianism, and let freedom reign.
Them Jersey boys are tough. He's still the boss. And don't you dare call him unpatriotic. Born in the USA, that was him too, right? Blaring every 4th of July, the boss. Bruce Springsteen there from his opening show on his UK tour last week. He's taking it global, his message. Springsteen stated that the United States is currently in the hands of a corrupt, incompetent, and treasonous administration. Following that, Trump went on a Truth Social Sunday evening rant. He attacked Bruce Springsteen in a post. All caps, buckle up. How much did Kamala Harris pay Bruce Springsteen for his poor performance during her campaign for president? Why did he accept that money if he is such a fan of hers? Isn't that a major and illegal campaign contribution? You ought to know. He goes on, what about Beyoncé? How much went to Oprah and Bono? I'm going to call for a major investigation into this matter. Candidates aren't allowed to pay for endorsements. Are they allowed to pay a porn star and cover up stuff? I'm asking for my friend. Her name's Stormy. She hasn't been seen much lately. Which is what Kamala did under the guise of paying for entertainment. In addition, this was a very expensive and desperate effort to artificially build up her sparse crowds. Now you're really doing the propaganda number. It's not legal, he says. It's not legal for these unpatriotic entertainers. This was just a corrupt and unlawful way to capitalize on a broken system. Thank you for your attention to this matter. He sounds like, you know when they did the school announcements? When I was in elementary and middle school too, they would end it with that. Thank you for your attention. Now, nobody was paying attention. Okay, kids were throwing spitballs, but they would always say that, probably in the hopes that we'd pay attention the next day. All right, in that post, Trump also called out Harris, Beyoncé, Oprah, Bono. What did Bono do? Trump called for an investigation into the artists for so-called, well, he wants to investigate the artists for so-called illegal campaign contributions. In 3, 2, 1, that blonde lady, she always has the same tone in her Fox interviews. She'll get it done for him. That's what he wanted. Trump also threatened to prosecute Beyoncé in this post. What about Jay-Z? And Kelly. Kelly was on the campaign trail with her. According to news reports, Beyoncé was paid $11 million to walk onto a stage, quickly endorse Kamala, and walk off to loud booing for never having performed, not even one song. Remember, the Democrats and Kamala illegally paid her millions of dollars for doing nothing other than giving Kamala a full-throated endorsement. This is an illegal election scam at the highest level. Again, you ought to know. It's an illegal campaign contribution. Bruce Springsteen, Oprah, Bono, and perhaps many others have a lot of explaining to do. Well, we know you just use the songs. Even the Village people, they finally acquiesced. I thought you paid. Didn't the Trump campaign pay them to finally? I mean, at first he was just doing whatever he wanted. Isaac Hayes III said, "You're not going to keep playing my daddy's music." Sued him. Cease and desist. Okay? You're not entitled to play the music. A lot of this has been denied. Beyoncé rarely speaks out on stuff. Maybe Jay-Z will. I doubt they'll say anything. She's not even paying attention. She's doing tour and getting herself all Beyoncé. Like, she's got that hair care line that I heard is just wonderful. It's wonderful. Try it. I'm not here to endorse any product, but I'm telling you, I've seen the videos on Instagram. She's not worried about Trump. Okay. There's a theme in this show, and I think Karen's run through it. I do. Because of course we've talked about this before, there's variations of Karen. There's up here, then there's, down here. You're calling on a little girl selling lemonade, little black girl in your neighborhood. I actually would put you right here for that. Leave the children alone. How about if you're just enjoying a fun day at the beach with your family? You're walking, you see some things. You see your rocks. What do you do? Well, if you're Comey and his wife, you take a picture and then you're accused of assassination, calling for the assassination of the president. Here, though, what do you do when you see someone's left some beautiful things? Do you enjoy them? Do you snap a photo? Or do you behave like a I wish a Karen would.
You want to call the police on them for having a barbecue on a Sunday.
I feel free! Back off!
I'm going to tell them there's an African-American man threatening my life.
You're a fucking bitch. Thank you. Yeah, here, let's record this. I don't care.
Yeah.
I know you don't care. Good. Yeah. Hey,
I think you're really cool, huh?
What?
I think you're really cool, huh?
Cool?
Destroying people's memories.
Nothing cool. This is, see this that you got down here? Prepare for it. Prepare for it, motherfucker. Prepare for it. Prepare for it. This is not a graveyard for people.
Sir, just don't be respectful. It's not that hard to be just...
I come to enjoy this ocean.
Then enjoy it.
And you guys paint, and you got rocks.
Enjoy it. Leave people's memories alone.
You build some trash.
It's not trash.
You make it even worse. You know, you got pieces of cars in here.
It's...
Bitch.
So he lied too, this Karen. You didn't come to the beach to enjoy the water. You're nasty. Who hurt you, boo? You embody the worst of Larry David's character. You leave the house to be nasty. The poster of the video wrote on TikTok, caught on camera, throwing memorial rocks into the ocean. Ventura Beach. This is what he called trash. Look at the beautiful artwork there. I would love to have that scattered in, amongst my bushes and things in my home or a park somewhere. It's beautiful. This is what he called trash. Every one of these rocks holds a name, a memory, a piece of someone's heart. Please don't take them. Just let them be. But no, that's not what Karens do. He's enjoying himself. He even likes being on camera. Okay? Does this guy have any friends? Yes, he probably has one down in Texas. Greg Abbott is probably his friend. Because when people behave in this cruel kind of manner, why are you approaching the rocks? Were these rocks everywhere? Were they 100 million strong? No. I see a beautiful collection of rocks. Can we show it again? They're just rocks that people took time. And it probably was cathartic. It helped them with perhaps some of these are painful memories. And people were saying, this is helping feed my soul. And then Karen comes along and just gobbles up with hate something so precious, so beautiful. What I would say to this guy is good for you. You're right on brand. If you looked up Karen in the dictionary and said, well, how should a Karen behave? If you were trying to teach a young person to behave as a Karen, you would show them this video. Picture perfect. You win, loser. God, I wish they would go on somewhere. Or can we give them an island? Like, isn't there that great garbage patch, the great Pacific garbage patch in the middle of the ocean? You can walk on that. I've seen the videos. I'm fascinated with it. It's horrible. But if we're not going to be able to get rid of that anytime soon, can the Karens just go there and commiserate amongst the trash? That would be my vote. This is Indisputable. I'm Sharon Reed. Much more to come.
What contributions to the progressive cause are you most proud of? I mean, I don't have super high aspirations for a singular role that I can play in the movement or anything. I try to present myself as what I think that I am, which is a progressive man who is driven by I think, well-interrogated and well-organized system of values that I try to stay consistent on, and I demonstrate that that's the sort of life that a person can lead and be successful and be happy and all of that. And that should not need to be done, but there are so many people on the right that are trying to push men in the opposite direction that I want to be able to do that. Along the way, if I can get people to care about some topics that they wouldn't necessarily care about, or that for some men they might think that's not a topic that they should be focused on, that's definitely something that I relish doing. And along the way, I mean, we've been able to introduce people to a lot of candidates. That's been a big part of what we've done. Not all of them necessarily got in office. Probably most of them did not. And a lot of them, you might not even remember their names. But it was great to be able to provide people the platform where they had the chance of, making a difference. Obviously AOC and all that, but there's been a lot of great people along the way.
In the bonus episode for the members, we do some inside baseball. We're gonna look at John's desk. Nice little spaceship here. Nerd. But it is kind of look cool. Who has Legos? Oh no. He's taken apart a keyboard. Who has a mouse pad that's this big? He's got a dog with a nose that you can hang something on. You know what this desk screams to me? Nerd. And that's how we like him. We love Johnny Pie. He's got his own personality like everybody does at TYT. Come meet us all in the bonus episodes. TYT.com/team.
David Soror.
Dr. Phil.
Adam Green drop by.
Charlemagne.
Congressman, great to have you. It's great to be with you, Jack.
Your show is a great thing. You're informing people. A lot of the shows that I live on, my CNN, my MSNBC, and even Fox, and any of the other shows, NPR, they are so quick to decide that they know what this building means today.
The one thing that I hate that politicians do, they talk about the people they should be talking to.
Do they have any idea that they're the establishment and that they're hated? Or do they not realize that at all?
People are so deeply in their little universe. I think it's very easy to not really question what you're doing.
Voters have a right to ask questions of any nominee, whether they're independent, Republican, or Democrat.
The system is duopoly that suppresses competition.
How is it the year 2024 and we're still like, maybe they'll talk about paid medical? Like how is that like at one level it's like, look at what we're talking about now. You're like, it's 2024. And that's always been the critique, that your critique of us is, well, you guys give good speeches, you put out good tweets, but you're not wielding actual power. Now we're starting to.
Yes. Congratulations on all your success. You guys are everywhere. It's about a country and a principle, and that's what you and I both work to achieve. And I'm so glad that at least half the battle has now been won.
If you want to go really hear what's going on honestly, you should tune into the Young Turks.
Thanks for doing such a great job. Please keep it up. Hang tough.
Yeah.
That makes me so happy.
Oh, I like making you happy.
I didn't think about that.
This is a happy Anna Kasparian.
What's up?
You're welcome, YouTube.
Join the Dragon Squad by becoming a YouTube channel member. Click the join button below or sign up on tyt.com/join to get access to fun emojis, a member-only chat, exclusive shop TYT designs, ad-free watching, and so many other amazing perks. Plus, you get bragging rights for being part of the coolest community on the internet and help us drive real positive change in the world. The Dragon Squad awaits, so join today.
Welcome back to Indisputable with the one and only Dr. Rashad Ritchie. Doc is off today. I'm Sharon Reed, and I'm honored to be with you, sharing this time together. It's wonderful. Who else would I talk to? Just talk to myself. I guess I kind of am, but I hear you, and that's a whole nother issue. There's voices in my head, and it's you all, okay? There's nothing else wrong. Let's get to some of your comments. Cray Souffle, always appreciate you. Has this to say about Donald Trump going after Obama, Oprah, Beyoncé, Bono, and so on and on. The boss, Bruce Springsteen, says he wants these tribunals, and he wants campaign finance reform, apparently. Maybe he can team up with Bernie Sanders on that. Cray says Trump has always been toxic waste in the world of celebrities, a world he's long forever wanted to be a part of and be worshiped in, even more than politics. The few C and D listers he has in his coffers, not enough for his gigantic ego, and will stop at nothing to destroy the lives of A-listers for not letting this rejected clown play in the glitz and glamour of the Hollywood Bowl. Honestly, some of his venom I still think is linked to the Correspondents' Dinner when Obama was so funny. Who wrote that material for him? Okay. And Donald Trump was so mad. You can't laugh at yourself. I laugh at myself all the time. Okay? It's funny. Couldn't laugh at himself. Some others, Spirit X, Black Boss B of the Bayou. Oh, he's going to employ the help of cross-eyed Cash. Cash Patel is what you're saying, Miss Bayou? Who's looking both ways at the same time, though that's very cold. He wants an investigation, she's talking about. Trump wants an investigation. Military tribunals it could end up with. Obama's probably unbothered, and either he's in Hawaii or maybe he's at his Martha's Vineyard estate. I don't know. And Michelle's doing her podcast, so she could care less. Snack Panther says, ooh, Sharon is on some sriracha level of spice today. Clap back, queen. I don't even know what I said. Have I been extra spicy? It's fine. I like a little spice. I do, as long as I have something carbonated to wash it down. Otherwise, if it's too much spice, I don't like that because it ruins the flavors. I can't get with the other flavors of the dish. But if it's just a little, my daughter loves it. She's on that. What do you call those noodles? They're in the bowl. It comes with this little sauce. It'll come to me. My daughter's addicted to these things, and so are all her friends. They love it. I don't think you should eat it every night. A couple more for you. Barely Funky on Twitch says, Kid Rock has no money, so we can't accuse him of giving to the Trump campaign. I don't know what Kid Rock has, except the problem. And by the way, his restaurant temporarily shut down because the Trump administration was raiding it, ICE, looking for undocumented people. So they left, they got out of there. Barely Funky adds, you're right, Trump. So are you going to present a campaign reform bill tomorrow? I said he should introduce it. He should work with Bernie Sanders to get something done. Let's finally get this thing done if the current occupant of the White House is correct. And one more for you. That Karen, Owen, the schmoopy dragon. Why do people go out of their way to be terrible? Because they can. It's either that or some kind of DNA issue or a cross chromosome. I'm starting to believe, do you think people are radicalized that way? Or are they born that way? That's the question. I tend to believe it's environment. It's nurture, not nature. Because I find it hard to believe that people just show up like this. You know, you have somebody, why is the sister decent and the other brother's a fool? You know, that could happen in the same family. And perhaps one went off to college and then the other got radicalized. I don't know. All right, let's move on. We'll get to more of your comments. Again, as I said, always appreciate you. If you know anything about Black institutions of higher learning, they came about because even at the highest level, it wasn't just at the low levels where you wouldn't teach Black children, but they didn't have schools and universities for us. And so, well, excellence was born. Let's just solve this thing, shall we? Let's just do it. And communities, whole communities got together and built up these institutions. And there's some of the most storied institutions turning out some of the most incredible people of color. White people can go there too, but mostly people of color who've achieved incredible things. And so when you think about a president of an HBCU like Florida A&M University, I heard that's a fun school. It's so much talent and brains that come out of. I always was so jealous. Why didn't I go to Florida A&M? Now, a president could be the new president, a MAGA plant. Why would someone who supports other things want to even be there? I'll tell you. Florida A&M University's board selected Marva Johnson as its 13th president. Oh, a Black woman. JD? Okay, got the law behind her? Let's see more about Miss Marva. Florida A&M University's board selected Marva Johnson as its 13th president. She has no direct ties to any HBCU or any experience in higher education. Oh, now hold up now. Only the best people? I just told you, these institutions of higher learning have a storied history of just incredible excellence. Doctors and lawyers and athletes. And Will Packer went to Florida A&M. Keisha Lance Bottoms, former mayor of Atlanta, worked in the Biden administration, now running for governor in Georgia. She went to FAMU too. And the bands. I mean, I wanted to be part of that. I don't know why I didn't do it. So she doesn't have any experience in higher education, Miss Marva Johnson. Previously served as a co-chair on one of Florida Governor Ron DeSantis' transition committees. Board of Education chair for 8 years under former Governor Rick Scott, according to her FAMU bio. Rick Scott. What was that incident with his company? The penalties. Johnson wrote in a statement after being selected, that's the key. To be considered for the opportunity to lead this storied institution is the honor of a lifetime. I will approach this role with bold vision, focused on student success, innovation, and national prominence while building strong bridges with the FAMU community and honoring the legacy that makes this university so special. The root with the quote. Well, that didn't last long. A petition called FAMU Deserves Better popped up immediately, it seems like. Students and alumni opposed Marva Johnson for FAMU president. It's on change.org if you want to check that out. It already has 16,839 signatures as of us going to broadcast. There it is. There she is. Marva Johnson is known to align herself to Republican Governor Ron DeSantis. So her becoming president of an HBCU has folks, pissed. The reaction on X, not good either. One poster writing, Florida really doesn't care about the youth, their education, and their well-being. Another poster wrote this. Oh, come on, y'all are just tripping. Is mine crooked? That wig, that makeup. Yep, she's one. What does that mean? If the wig is not up to par, it's a dead giveaway that she's MAGA? Is that what it means? I got to look into this. Or ask one of my Real Housewives friends. But they're coming after, they're clapping at your wig, Marva. And that's uncomfortable. I don't even think she's on Black Twitter, but I'm just letting her know. Isn't that bad? Can you put the picture up again? I apologize, team. I just want to see for myself, if I could just see it with Marva's. I think what they're saying, the problem is probably doesn't have much light. It doesn't look like it moves. I'm no expert, okay? I'm just telling you, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of movement, and that may be what they're targeting. We don't go after people's looks unless we do. And then finally, there you go again with the in Atlanta, you better call it a unit. But this poster said, we can tell by the wig, Marva. Well, that's unfortunate, okay, because I support women. I support Black women. I don't like to go after people. But if you're going to be on the world stage, and I think if you're the next president of FAMU and there's some questions about your qualifications, your background, who you align yourself with, well, hell, come on to Atlanta, Buddha, get you fixed up. They got what? It'll look like it's coming right out of your head. Listen, I first was peeped to this a little while ago. I saw Will Packer, who I'm a huge fan of. Again, he even has, I think, a theater down there named after him on the campus. Just incredible accomplishment. And you hear the same thing over and over again. It looks like so much fun, too, when they go to homecoming. But from Packer and other alum, you hear about the value of that school and what it taught them. Bold people who gained confidence, brilliant people who weren't afraid to go into the world and get after it, no matter what the world tried to tell them about who they are, their skin color, what they couldn't do. This HBCU, like so many others, gave them the confidence to say, nope, get ready, world, here we come. And they've achieved some big things. I don't know what Marva Johnson's vision is for FAMU or if this is even going to last, because alum are so proud of these schools they went to, they give, and they give generously. Will that stop? What's your vision, Marva? I hope Dr. Ritchie could have her on the bullpen. Now I'm nominating people. They already probably have a list because I'd like him to get it out of her. Maybe she means them nothing but what's positive. But it's worth a question when you're hanging around with somebody eating pudding with their fingers. And you know who we're talking about. Okay, it's worth questioning, inquiring about the motives. We'll move on to this one. Funds misappropriated. Who's accused of stealing now? By Oregon police to buy new gadgets. What kind of gadgets? Well, we'll tell you. Police in Oregon have been caught playing out their G.I. Joe fantasies. It's been revealed that funds meant for addiction treatment in Oregon were spent on police gadgets and gizmos. The hell is going on out there? Oregon has for years struggled with a drug crisis, reporting one of the highest rates of substance use disorders in the U.S. Oregon ranks 50th in the U.S. for providing access to addiction treatment. I thought day one Trump was going to get that under control. Didn't he say that too? After he ended the war between Ukraine and Russia. For years, the state had been asking for better addiction and recovery treatments. Last year, the state announced $20 million in grants to help connect people to substance use services. That's a good thing. The funds, the governor and lawmakers said, will go to counties to support a treatment-first approach, encouraging jurisdictions to get drug users into recovery programs instead of arresting and jailing them. The Guardian with the details. Some local governments have spent the taxpayer-funded grants to beef up law enforcement. This hot dog. This is exactly what they said. The opposite. We're going to give you money because we can't assume that people who become addicted are just bad people with no value in society. Let's get them recovered. Let's get them some help. Let's see what they can do. And you done spent the money on arresting and jailing them. Shameful. Shameful. Some local governments have spent the taxpayer-funded grants to beef up the police state. Budget documents reveal that several counties have put the money toward hiring prosecutors, acquiring police gadgets and police vehicles, covering sheriff costs. Washington County, the state's second largest jurisdiction, budgeted twice as much of its funds for police and district attorney salaries as it did on community programs. Not even community policing, where everybody knows your name and you're out of your squad car. 2 other counties used the money for laser devices that are meant to detect drugs, but have been criticized as useless. You done bought lasers that don't even really work? Let's talk about the legislators. They gave the state's 36 counties wide discretion on how to implement the new law. That's your first mistake. Okay. Washington County got a $1.5 million deflection budget approved last year. Oh, I wonder how they spent that money. Well, let's see here. Okay, nearly $700,000 of it was allocated to salaries for new law enforcement positions. $283,487 for a high-level deputy district attorney. $116,664 for a legal specialist in the district attorney's office. $257,335 for a sheriff's lieutenant. Also included $40,000 for overtime for the sheriff's office. Okay, the sheriff, law enforcement, the people who are penning this budget, approving this budget, the council, whoever it is, they got to break them up. Break them up. Because they only have one way to do it. Let's support law enforcement in this police state on the people's back, and in this case, some of the most vulnerable people. Let's give you some budget line items in other counties that raised eyebrows. Clatsop County. They budgeted $71,000 of its deflection funds for 2 TrueNarc spectrometers, handheld devices that are marketed for detecting narcotics. The county said TrueNarc would allow even the name should tell you everything you need to know. TrueNarc would allow law enforcement to scan directly through plastic bags or glass containers to reduce exposure, increase officer safety, and protect first responders. This is shameful. Here's what the TrueNarc analyzer looks like. could be yours for the small price of $43,100. Look at this. It looks like one of those old beepers or pagers is what they used to call them. Yes, I'm dating myself. Or one of those things you get on Amazon that can give you your heartbeat. But those are only $99. I see the commercial. It's unclear how the devices will be used to connect people to services through deflection. They won't. Rand Hartley, a public defender, stated this. This is the epitome of the funds being used to supplement law enforcement dollars. When you put out a grant without any meaningful restrictions, saying it can be spent on anything related to deflection, well, this is what you end up with. True Narc was requested because of a myth about the dangers of fentanyl exposure. And by paying for it, you're endorsing the myth. So what this tells us, all of that money went to keep the cycle going. What this degree, this amount of law enforcement, the expenditures needs is a supply of offenders. And if we need to turn people who are sick, either it's a disease or it isn't, folks. And I'm not saying that people don't have, shouldn't be held accountable, shouldn't face some repercussions. Listen, if you know anybody who's addicted to some of these devastating drugs, believe me, they're facing those repercussions. They are taking accountability whether they like it or not. Their lives have gone to hell in many instances. Don't we have a common interest in rebuilding? Just let's say you're selfish. You don't really care about that other person, but you care about your life and the value of it and your community being nice and clean. That alone, what this money that went to help recover people, help get them on the straight and narrow path. All this money went to do is support more activity to justify the expense. Sick, and I'm gonna use the word again. Forget about your moral compass. If you're, not everybody's able to do that. I know some people who can do it just fine. It's just stupid. It's just stupid. You're not helping. You're not making yourself safe. You're not helping with our tax dollars being put to good use. You're raising taxes by this kind of nonsense. And yes, I know it was a grant, but when these kinds of situations and people at their lowest levels are crying out for help and you're meeting them with cuffs and jail time, it's stupid. This is Indisputable. I'm Sharon Reed, in for Dr. Rashad Ritchie today. We appreciate you. Appreciate your attention to detail, appreciate your comments, and appreciate that this is your channel, this is your show. You are the boss here. Much more to come.
Our audience has given us everything, so we couldn't be more connected. When we first started, people would start giving us directions and say, okay, the mics are too large, move them. Turn them into lav mics. I mean, they were incredible. And then one guy walked in and gave us a really expensive switcher and said, you guys need this, and walked out. Okay, it's amazing. They helped us build a studio. They did a $2 million funding campaign for us. And so they really are us. We do this show together to the point where some of our hosts are even former listeners. So when we say that the audience is part of TYT, we really mean it.
I think what the audience also appreciates is especially if they're members, they really get an inside look into who we are, our personal lives, what drives and motivates us. It goes beyond just storytelling. I think that what we do is allow our viewers and our listeners into our daily lives, and we give them kind of like this inside look into everything that we're passionate about and why it is that we're doing what we're doing, right? Like the motivation behind what we're doing, I think is important for our audience to know, and we're not shy about sharing that with them. And it's different from what people typically see in legacy media outlets, where everything is kind of dry and robotic and there's really no personality or authenticity that comes along with it. Oftentimes when we're doing the show, I don't really think of it as me telling them stories. I think of it as us having a mutual respect and conversation with one another. And as I said earlier, I mean, not only do I feel that through the work I do, I'm informing our audience, but they inform me oftentimes as well. You know, they'll pitch stories to us. They'll tell us, you know, a certain perspective or angle to a story that we might have missed. And I love it.
Welcome back to Indisputable with Dr. Rashad Ritchie. The truth is always indisputable. I was looking at one of Doc's old promos. For some reason, it ended up in my Google Drive folder. And I said, this is a great one. It inspired me, okay? I wanted to go do something, be an activist or something. It was great. And then there's this. The Department of Justice, well, they're not interested in the J6 insurrectionists, not interested in social justice, probably looking into whether Derek Chauvin should be pardoned. Good thing they got him on state charges. But what they have all day for, they got time for this. DOJ investigating Chicago mayor over hiring Black people in his administration. This is Chicago. There's probably a path, but honestly, over the years, Richard Daley couldn't get elected without Black people. That's how strong the voting bloc is in Chicago. 30+% of the city. Are you kidding me? What is this about? Why would they be investigating? Department of Justice launched an investigation into Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson for hiring Black people. And why now? Well, because it comes after the mayor said this.
Some detractors that will push back on me and say, you know, the only thing that the mayor talks about is the hiring of Black people. No, what I'm saying is when you hire our people, we always look out for everybody else. We are the most generous people on the planet. I don't know too many cultures that have play cousins. That's how generous we are. We just make somebody a family member, right? This is how we are. And so business and economic neighborhood development, the deputy mayor is a Black woman. Department of Planning and Development is a Black woman. Infrastructure deputy mayor is a Black woman. Chief operations officer is a Black man. Budget director is a Black woman. Senior advisor is a Black man.
Sounds nice to me. You ought to come down here to Atlanta. You ought to see City Hall in Atlanta. It was just qualified, great people running a city too busy to hate. You think, did anybody look into Richard Daley or these other people's administrations? I know they looked into Lori Lightfoot. They ran her out of there. Okay, so you see Brandon Johnson there, the comments. They came at an event at a church in Woodlawn on Sunday. So he's just kicking it at the church, having that inside talk. Deputy mayor is a Black woman, he said. Deputy of Finance Development, Black woman. When you ask, how do we ensure that our people get a chance to grow their businesses? Having people in my administration that will look out for the interests of everyone, and everyone means you have to look out for the interests of Black folks. What's controversial about that? And I don't know a Black person who gets in charge of something. In fact, they're accused of the opposite. Remember Obama? I don't know a Black person who gets into an elected office, a higher office, and only look, they would never try to get it. We would never try to get away with that. Okay, remember Black people were mad at Obama. You're not doing enough for us. Okay. But the Trump Justice Department is on it and said it's specifically investigating the number of black men and women who serve in Johnson's administration. Is there a typo? Not if they're qualified, but just the number of them? Johnson said he was neither surprised nor intimidated by the investigation. Oh, now they're really going to crank it up. It's clear that this administration does not respect the rule of law, and it's also clear that this administration is more interested in creating division within our country while we are being inclusive. Yeah, they turned DEI into a negative. We're not going to be intimidated and struck by fear because we're showing up in our best form. And that's who we are as a city. But I did want to give you this breakdown of Mayor Johnson's staff. So let's see. Johnson's team sent a breakdown of the racial makeup of his 105-member staff. According to his office, 34% of employees are black, 30% are white, 23% are Hispanic, 7% Asian, 5% are 2 or more ethnicities. He got you, baby. Could be United Nations. He got you, baby. What are you going to investigate? Those numbers seem that they are closely aligned with the makeup of Chicago. He's got you, baby. He's got a rainbow coalition here. He's done it. And I haven't heard anyone who's screaming that these people aren't qualified, except maybe members, hardcore MAGA, who think DEI, and anytime you hire a black person, you're compromising, right? Because the minute we're in a cockpit, we're causing crashes. Okay, we can't even bring the planes in. They don't even want us to air traffic controllers. You're not going to black doctors. You don't want us handling your money. And now, even though you call Chicago shy rock, is it? Isn't that what Trump called it? You don't even want black people on the black mayor's team, who was duly elected. Okay. Black woman before him. So, and does the mayor count as part of that 30%, 34%? I don't know. But it's just deliciously dumb and ridiculous resources here. I just don't get it. You have the head of the Justice Department, this blonde, loud woman, who I remember when the first guy who hangs around young women and is accused of some nasty things with that helmet head. How did Matt Gaetz get his hair like that? I always wanted to know. That's about all I wanted to know. Didn't find anything else interesting about him. But so he's done. Then they bring her on. And I even heard lawmakers across the aisle who worked with her down in Florida, where she emerged from, saying things like, oh, she's going to be great. She's going to uphold the law. She's a mouthpiece and engaged in foolishness. I don't know how these people ever expect to be treated foolishly. It does tell me, though, something about the communities they go back to. And I just mean on a daily basis, right? You may be a Trump official, but you're going back to your community. In my community, they would shun me and look at me like I was a fool. These people are presumably going to church to worship whatever God they believe in. They're going to the market. They're going to Lululemon. You know they're going to Lululemon, don't you? And probably Whole Foods. They're probably going to Whole Foods. And people are saying, oh, Pam, hey, will I see you at hot yoga? Okay, so they're prancing around a Lululemon. And they're fine. It tells me everything I need to know. As opposed to Mayor Johnson of Chicago, who was just sitting around shooting the breeze at church and being honest about how he sees it. Mayor, I'm with you. I went to school, grad school in Chicago, and I enjoyed that pizza too. I enjoyed it. And I'm going to enjoy this diversity and see what Pam Bondi and the other fools at the Justice Department do. Hey, listen, we appreciate you always. And a special shout out, thank you to Dr. Richie and his team, the best in the business, for bringing us a reflection of what we need to work on, what's out there. And you guys are the best. So thank you for keeping me company. I hope it wasn't too spicy for you. Too much. What was the spice? Oh, sriracha. My daughter likes sriracha. I'm a red hot girl. I put it on my eggs. I discovered that from one ex of mine. I kept that habit, got rid of him real quick. Too controlling. Thank you for joining us. We hope you will find your way back to us. Share the videos online, comment. Let's just keep this thing going, this beautiful thing, because independent media, it doesn't exist with the cables, the major networks. This is all we have, folks, and it's incredibly powerful. I'm honored to just be invited to share in this community. Thanks again.